Hi everyone, I'm Roselyn and I welcome you to Imma Fashion Academy. Imma Fashion Academy is an online learning platform where we teach you a variety of skills and techniques cutting across various disciplines in fashion. And on today's tutorial, I would like to introduce us to the tools and equipment we need for corset tailoring. You know, when I talk about work and its quality in fashion or apparel industry, my favorite catchphrase is the right tools for the right job. You are only as good as the tools you use. The quality of tools you choose to use is as good as the tools themselves. So today, I'm going to be introducing you to about 20 basic tools you need for corset tailoring. I'll start very quickly with the ruler. You can get a ruler, very important equipment for markings. It's ideal you get either a straight one or the pattern master. Okay, it's very convenient to use because it has a straight rule inbuilt, it has an armhole curve, it has a protractor inbuilt, and the inches and centimeters are very clear and convenient. So if this is kind of pricey, or if you don't have funds for that, you can use your basic straight rule, but just ensure it has both inches and centimeter markings for convenience. I also have the masking tape. It's important in corset tailoring for sealing the ends of your sew-on bonings, either the vertical bones in a corset or the horizontal one, or those you're using for quilting. You need to seal them to avoid them pricking the person's skin while wearing the garment. Next is the scissors. The scissors is another very important tool. I would advise you get both fabric scissors like what I have here. Then you can get also paper scissors, because like I always advise my students, it's not good to alternate one scissors on both texture of materials. If you're using a fabric scissors, dedicate that to your fabric, while you get a smaller scissors like this for patterns and paper. So next on the list is wriggling bone, or what we usually refer to as sew-on boning. There is the wide type, which is 0.5 inches, and there is the narrow type, which is 0.3 inches. It comes in black color and white and in rolls, and it's also available to buy in yard. So the major difference between the wide and narrow bone is that the narrow wriggling bone can be assembled, okay? It can be assembled for inner structuring of the corset. Now, this narrow boning, you can see, has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 strings inbuilt in this bone. Okay, so the fabric around the strings can be gathered. Okay, when you pull it down this way, when you pull it down, it exposes the string, and then when you pull on this string, the bone curves this way. When you pull on this one, the bone curves in the opposite direction. So this gives room for you to be able to use it for curved shapes and quilting of corset cups. The wide wriggling bone does not give room for you to assemble it in any form. Wriggling bones were originally made in England, but today we have manufacturers from China, Turkey, and other places as well. So feel free to get which one you feel comfortable using, but just make sure that the 0.3 inch boning, which is the narrow boning, it can be assembled for inner quilting and structuring of corsets. Next on the list is Tailors Chalk. It's made of clay clay material, and this is how it comes in a box. You use them for marking your fabrics and other materials while making corsets. But we also have other marking equipment like the disappearing ink or pen, and they are very important when you're working with very transparent materials or see-through fabrics, so that you don't leave a lasting stain on your fabrics. Next will be the presser fit, okay? We have various types of presser fit that are applicable to corset tailoring. We have the normal one that looks like this for your industrial machine. This is the normal presser fit. It's important for sewing on bonings and then the general tailoring of the corset. Then you have specialized ones like the zipper foot. This comes in left and right form. You also have specialized ones like the invisible zipper foot. This is the invisible zipper foot for industrial machine, for applying invisible zips onto your outfits. Okay. You also have other specialized ones that are particularly made for on the vertical bonings and other bonings. But right now, I will be very sincere with you, I also have not got that. So the general industrial foot is very ideal for sewing on your bonings on your corsets. Next will be the measuring tape. The measuring tape is a flexible tape, okay? It has both markings in inches and on the reverse side in centimeters. It's very important for taking measurements around a curved shape like the human body. It comes as a free tape like this in different inches, but I advise you buy tapes that are 60 inches and above. You also have the retractable type, like the type I'm wearing on my neck is a retractable type that you can pull and retract when you press on this button. So you have the retractable one in different lengths as well. So they are very handy and important for taking measurements of your client. Next will be the plastic boning, okay? These are plastic bones. Very, very, very ideal for strengthening the architecture of your corset, okay? Assuming you have a client that needs tummy effect control, you use plastic boning in addition to your sew-on boning to strengthen, to give the corset extra strength. They are very important for see-through corsets. That's corsets that are transparent, okay? You use your plastic bonings for those purposes. They also require small hammer. A small and handy hammer is necessary to crush beads along seam lines, especially when you're using delicate laces that have beads and a lot of other appliques on them. So next will be your fabric glue, okay? This is very common, UHU, all-purpose adhesive glue. You can use them on fabric. It has different sizes, both big, medium, small. I think it has about 4 different sizes, if I'm not mistaken. And then when I'm attaching appliques and some appliques that require, when I'm attaching appliques that require to stay very long on the fabric, I prefer to use the hot gun and its glue. So next will be press iron. Okay, most people have asked what kind of press iron is ideal for corsetry. I will always recommend a press iron with an inbuilt heat generator and steam regulator. Corset has a lot to do with bone, and these bones require heat to mold them to the form you require them to be. Next will be the pressing mold. Let me start with cup pressing mold. This is the usual and conventional cup pressing mold that a lot of tailors use for pressing their corset, but I recommend this. This is a half circle cup pressing mold. I prefer this because it has a flat base that can sit properly on the working surface and allow you concentrate on molding your cup using the press iron. So I recommend this, and there are other molds as well that you can use to shape the body of your corset. The pear-shaped mold helps the shape of the corset, the hourglass shape of the corset, to be formed properly. Moving on, we have padding polyester. Padding polyester is a soft textured material usually used for concealing the effects of the bonings on the corset's outlook. Okay, so usually you get this from a furniture shop. Thick, okay, there are very light ones, but if you happen to get the thick ones, you can always separate the layers like this to what you desire, because you don't desire a thick layer for corset because it's going to add volume to your overall look of your garment, okay, of your corset. So you can rip the layers apart this way and then use them to conceal the boning and other corset structuring. We'll get to see in details how this functions later when we go fully into the sewing aspect. Okay, so next I have iron-on materials. Iron-on materials include things like your hairstay. They have a fusible side with gum, okay? The adhesive side that fuses to the fabric, okay? So this is the cotton hairstay. The usual name is hairstay. Let me bring it close so you see the texture, okay? So this is cotton hairstay. We also have the nylon type, okay? This also has a fusible face and then the non-fusible face. So this is nylon hairstay, and they both come in white and black. Then you have the cloth gum, okay? This is a cloth gum. It also has, like the other ones, a fusible face, which is kind of glossy, and then the non-fusible face. If you look properly, you'll see that the architecture of this particular one is quite different from the other. The threading and yarns are closely packed, and I recommend the cloth gum for your cups, corset cups, which require a stiffer material. Okay, so these are the various iron-on materials I use for my corset tailoring. Okay, next is the pruner. This is a smaller version of the pruner. The particular one I use for corset tailoring is not available here. Those ones have a flat blade, more like scissors, but it's able to cut through iron strings. It can cut boning easily without stress, and it just does a whole lot of work that scissors may not be able to do. So the bigger one is ideal, okay? So next will be pin and pin cushions. This is a magnetic wrist cushion. Okay, you can wear it over your wrists, and it helps you hold your pins in place to help you keep your pins in place and make them readily available as you sew on. So there are also tabletop types that can stay on the table, but I always prefer the wrist type that allows me move anywhere with it and makes my pins readily available. It's important to hold fabrics in place while cutting or while working. If you know how I work, you will know I hardly do without pins. I can almost not do without pins while cutting or working on anything at all. So please, this comes high. I also have here silk cords for taking measurements of your clients. Okay, when we come to how to take corset measurements, you get to understand. But silk cord, they ought not to stretch, and then you can get the elastic bands as well, the thin type, just to help you mark various points on the human form, like your waist, your bust, and all that. You demarcate these various positions on the human form before taking measurements using the elastic band, and then the silk cord as well. It can come in any color. Just get something as simple as this for taking measurements of your clients. Next will be the dress form. Okay, I will advise you get a dress form that suits the size of your regular client or your own size. If you're sewing for yourself, get a dress form that is about your size so that you use them to test the fit of corsets and garments you're working on before the client comes to fit. You require just the torso, except you're making very long dresses and you need to fit them on a fuller version, a standing one. If not, the torso comes very handy. You're able to put it on your laps while you're working, and then it allows you freedom to move it around, lay it down, and then check whatever you need to check all around the dress form. Next will be your sewing machine. Okay, the sewing machine, you make do with very simple sewing machines like what I have here. Okay, this is a tabletop sewing machine, so you can get something like this to work to start with, or you can get a manual sewing machine. And if you have the funds, why not? You can get an industrial sewing machine like what I have here. Hold on, there are other brands like Imma and Brothers, and a lot of them. It's quite pricey, but you can always work around it, save up, and ensure that you get it done. When you're not okay with your stitching or quality of stitch coming from these other simpler machines, then you know you're ready to move to the industrial machine. And the industrial machine offers more speed and a lot of advantages that this other one may not be able to give you. Next and last on my list will be your working surface. Okay, like what I have here. This is my working surface. It measures about 60 inches by 36 and it's about 90 cm high. It should be that high to prevent you getting waist pain while working, or when it's too high, it can also cause inconveniences. So this is the wide form of it. And on the reverse side of this particular one, I covered it up with foam. This is how it comes. It's an MBF board. It's an MBF board with a glossy face on both sides, but this particular white one, I covered one side of it with foam, so that when I want to do anything that requires foam, like ironing, pressing, and all of that, I turn the reverse side of it that has the foam. And then if I want to work on paper or draft my patterns, I use the plain side of it. And most times when I want to train using white pattern papers, I prefer to use the red board, which allows the white paper to be very visible on it. So you can get something like this, or get any table that is about the height and measurements that I recommended. So that brings us basically to the end of today's tutorial. I hope you learned something new or something important, and I hope you are armed right now with all the knowledge about all the equipment you will need for corset tailoring and structuring. So if this video was helpful to you in any way, don't forget to give us a thumbs up, share, and subscribe to our channel. And please also don't forget to turn on your notification bell so that you're notified and you don't miss out on any of our weekly videos that I'll be sharing from time to time. Thank you for staying to the end of this tutorial. I remain your reliable fashion coach, Roselyn.